Today, Deutsche Bank officials raided in money laundering probe. I've been hearing a lot of people that are in the financial, um, I guess business, talk about Deutsche Bank. Deutsche Bank is one of those places where, there's a lot of institutional money, and people are always talking about how it's, getting ready to fail, or, they're doing some weird shadow banking shit. But this article came out today. This is a Wall Street Journal. Investigation focuses on employees suspected of helping clients create offshore entities in tax havens. So that would be people in the U.S. particularly. Goes on to say German authorities raided Deutsche Bank offices Thursday as part of an investigation into whether the firm helped clients launder money through tax havens. One of the employees suspected of involvement works in the division responsible for fighting financial crime, according to people familiar with the matter. This is like one of those situations where, you sexually harass somebody, but you're the head of the HR department. You just figure, I just get away with it. But there's always someone bigger. And that's the guy that's going to be held accountable. And when he doesn't want to be held accountable, you get fucked. Around 170 police officers and other officials seized documents during searches through 6 different properties Thursday, including one employee's home, according to authorities. Blah, blah, blah. I guess this is their share price basically got cut in half, which is pretty substantial. And this goes back, to the banks are corrupt. Period. All of them are corrupt because they're dealing with money. And money is what makes the world go round in today's modern society. But moving on to number 2, German police raid Deutsche Bank over suspected money laundering. This was an article that was posted on Twitter. It says Deutsche Bank is suspected of helping some 900 customers set up offshore shell companies and tax havens to transfer money from criminal activities. They said some $354 million are believed to have been laundered, citing information gleaned from the so-called Panama Papers. Now, if you guys don't know what the Panama Papers is, they have a link here in the article. From Panama to Paradise, the biggest tax evasion data leaks in history. And this basically goes over how a lot of elites, if you want to call them that, top of the food chain, the apex of the pyramid, whatever you want to call them, this was one of the biggest things, aside from obviously, the WikiLeaks and everything else, Edward Snowden, blah, blah, blah. A lot of big things have happened in the last decade. But the Panama Papers is definitely one of those things that makes you go, damn. So, I'm just going to read an excerpt from this. In 2015, an anonymous source leaked I don't even know how to say that, a cache of data containing 11.5 million documents from Panama-based law firm Mossack Fonseca. The German newspaper sought the help of the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists to sort through the 2.6 terabytes of information, which included emails, financial spreadsheets, and corporate records reaching back to 1977 before the first findings were published in April 2016. Some contain information relating to 214,000 shell companies set up by Mossack Fonseca, The leak implicated prominent politicians and celebrities, including Iceland's then Prime Minister, Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson, I don't even know how to say that, who resigned 2 days after the leak was made public. So, obviously, big deals. So it was one of the biggest data leaks apparently ever, because WikiLeaks 2010 was 1.7 gigabytes. It's not that much. I don't know what the WikiLeaks was in 2016, but I don't think it was, near 2.6 terabytes. That'd be a lot of emails. So anyways, there's that. Now, I did see a tweet by somebody that I don't know. I've never seen this guy before. I don't know what his political affiliation is or anything like that. He just wrote, Trump reportedly owes between 175 million to 300 million to Deutsche Bank US. The loans were given to him despite his record of at least 6 bankruptcy filings. The bank even sued him for failure to repay loans. Special counsel Robert Mueller has subpoenaed the bank's records. I don't know if this is true, okay? But let's just say for a second that this is true, which, to be honest, I don't think it's true. I think it's made up to put Robert Mueller's kind of like fear-mongering to conservatives to think that Donald Trump did something bad, which, who knows, maybe he did. Maybe this is the drop in the hat, like a threat to Donald Trump. If he continues with what he's doing and attacking the investigation, then he's going to pounce. Now, Robert Mueller, I think, is trying to use everything in the book, okay, in order for him to prolong this until the 2020 election. I think that the best thing Robert Mueller could do right now, if we're talking chess, is take the pawns, take the knights, the rooks, and the castles, leave the king and the queen until the end. But I don't think that he's going to be successful, and here's why. First of all, this kabuki theater that is the United States political sphere is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. First of all, there have been knowledge of past presidents doing corrupt things that never got questioned. There are different things that should be questioned but never did get questioned. Like, for example, Bush Sr. is the son of a Nazi collaborator. Do the research and look up the name Prescott Bush and learn what he did during World War II. Okay? He financed work camps in Nazi Germany. That's how he made his fortune. Okay? His son went on in the U.S. to become president of the United States. Obviously, from all the research people have done online, they are part of the Skull and Bones, which is out of Yale University. Yale is one of those places that they're highly accredited, and they hold a lot of their studies and information. They get a lot of government funding, blah blah blah. But people, look up to Yale like it's some big thing. But to be honest, most of the information that Yale could provide is probably available online now. School in general is kind of a thing of the past if you think about it, because any kind of information that you'd ever want to know is available online. It's at the tip of your fingers. My parents, they always get on my ass about, they had to drive around, no cell phone. They didn't, they had to learn mechanics in case their car broke down, how to change a tire, all these things, and they laugh at millennials because a lot of us don't know what they're doing. Well, that's because everything has become so easy that it's unnecessary for them to learn, and they would much rather spend their time learning something that's going to make them money so that they can pay somebody to do it. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how they think. But it's not because of how they were raised. It's just because of the way that society transformed with technology. But my whole point on this is, if you look at what's happening, Donald Trump, if there was some kind of cabal, some kind of whether it's the CIA or the NSA or whoever you want to, at any 3-letter agency, any secret society that you can think of, why would they do Donald Trump? And I started to think about it, right? Donald Trump's great-grandfather, or grandfather actually, his dad's dad, that's 3 people ago. Okay, he was around in the 1840s, like during the gold rush, and he was selling Levi's, and he was selling the shovels and the axes and the things for people to mine. Donald Trump's grandfather was around during one of the times where the currency was amazing. It was the best. It was the best that it has ever been. Pre-Federal Reserve, okay? And you also have to take into consideration that around this time, right, Abraham Lincoln and the Secret Service was created. The one agency that doesn't get a lot of attention, especially in the conspiracy theory realm. And what's interesting about the Secret Service is that it was created to make sure that the money that was being printed and circulated was not counterfeit originally. And then it evolved into protecting the president. But that is the longest standing federal agency in the United States, which was around, and you have to remember, Donald Trump's family has been in New York and has been very connected over its lifetime. Very wealthy. They're around, during basically any great time in this country, obviously besides its creation. After it was established, you have the Drumps. And I play chess. I'm alright. I can beat most people that I play. There are a few times where I do lose. And maybe this is one of those times where the so-called globalists or elites lost. I don't know for sure, but they're grasping at straws right now. I mean, they are turning over every stone for this man. If he is protected by the Secret Service because they have a long-standing relationship, not with the Secret Service people, but the actual organization, for all we know, he could have been a part of creating it. Trump's family members or whatever could have been a part of it. We don't know. Those documents could have been lost or archived or whatever. Of course, I have no proof, and it's pure speculation. But maybe he played the long game. Maybe Donald Trump's family, who has been politically connected, as you have seen, he met a lot of presidents. He knows a lot of very powerful people. And yet, they left him alone all these years, poking at him. And then finally, it was his time. And he played his checkmate. He moved his pieces in position, and he won his game. I have a feeling that we are on the brink of a beginning of a new world and a death of the old world. And to be honest with you, I don't know if it's going to get better. And I don't know if it's going to get worse. But what I can tell you is that Donald Trump right now is the keystone that holds it all together. And he's either going to make it work. Obviously, it's not just Donald Trump. It is, if I can imagine, he has very good people underneath him. Probably a lot of advisors, militarily, psychologically, and all these other things. And he is just holding up the building, the house of cards. He's holding it up. Because he knows if it falls, so does the rest of the world. And this time, it's done. And when I say it's done, I mean the U.S. loses world reserve currency. The rest of the world's currencies are going to skyrocket because money is going to flow out of the U.S. and on and on and on. I hope it doesn't happen. But these are the kinds of things that I think most people don't think about. And there's a lot of there's a lot of weight. There's a lot of weight on the U.S. right now. There's a lot of weight on the West. There's a lot of weight on, the Trump administration. There's a lot of weight on politicians. They are, they're being squashed every day. The media is being decimated. The alternative media is being silenced, censored every day. It seems like more and more people lose their platform to speak. I just created mine, and I may not be here tomorrow. Not that I'm going anywhere. We will always find a way, but my point is, this is definitely put me, I guess you can say, in a somewhat of a survival mode. And my only wish is that I can reach as many people as I can with this podcast and get people more involved in what's going on. There's a city right outside of where I work, and it's called West Sacramento. It's the west side of Sac. And I was like, you know what? I wonder who the mayor is of West Sac. So I looked it up. The guy's ran unopposed since 1999. Nobody's ran against him since 1999. You mean to tell me there's not a single soul who wanted to run for mayor? Nobody that has aspired to become mayor of a city. I think about it, and I think it's such a great idea. I think, wow. Makes me want to run for mayor. Am I going to do it? I don't know. Probably not. Because I don't want to be the mayor. I'd rather be something else. Something that's a little different than... I'm not really a politician. I think people would probably hate me if I was a mayor. I'd fire everybody. Cut the government spending by like as much as I can. I don't want a libertarian or anybody in there like that. They'd fucking kick my ass out. It'd be riots. Everybody had no jobs. But it's just interesting because you would think that there would be people that are aspiring to be something, more than just somebody that goes to work and, does all these things and, day-to-day job and be involved in government. I understand being involved in government, but if you're a state worker or something like that, it's like, go do your job, you go home, and it's like, you get probably pretty tired of doing that. I can't imagine anybody saying, oh yeah, I love my job, and they like file all day or something. So I guess what I'm trying to say, finally, is regardless of what happens to the United States, I hope that those that I do reach end up doing good in this world that we live in. And this world, which I have come to find, or come to define as, the Dark Ages. It's like the Dark Ages, but it's a lot different. And it's a lot different in the sense that we have it so good as a society. And yet, we always find a way to ruin it. And I just hope we make the right choice. Hope we get our shit together and hopefully we can get Donald Trump to do the right thing. That's all I care about. I just want him to do the right thing. I want him to do the right thing. I want all these corrupt politicians to face justice, including Donald Trump, if that is the case. I'm sure he's had dealings in the past. I don't know what they are, but I guarantee if they were substantial, Mueller would know about it, and he probably would share it. But again, he's waiting, biding his time. Keep going, and going. And then it's going to be a WikiLeaks, boop, right before the election, 2020. Anyways, I hope I didn't fucking straight up depress you guys with all that. Things will get better. They will. Because each and every one of you guys out there that are listening to this know that people are good. There are evil people out there, but the majority of us are good. Cut the noise. Okay? All that noise you hear about, murders, robbings, stabbings, all that stuff is irrelevant. That's all the noise. You got to cut that out. And just know every single day when you either go to work and you do your job and you come home and you see either your family or your girlfriend or your wife or whoever it may be, maybe it's your dog, just put on a smile and enjoy your life. Every day. Okay? That's it. That's all I got.